All right, guys, we're going to rock and roll here. We're not live on the Twitter profile, Judah. But, you know, it is what it is. I know that's not on your end. Let's see if we can get our software meshing here. You can set up YouTube the right way. We are live on LinkedIn, Judah.
Yeah.
We're going to start the program in a matter of moments here, folks. We're starting early. Hooray. Today's show is going to be one, live on the group, Judah, that will be one of our most watched and listened to shows in I Love CVille Network history. We now have a statement from Albemarle County Public Schools about tomorrow's planned truancy protest at Albemarle High School. Albemarle County Public Schools, in a statement to parents, are without question hedging risk, hedging exposure, and trying to diminish as much liability as possible as they realize that students will be truant and skip school to protest ICE. The plan is for Albemarle County high school students to skip school, to be truant, and to protest and march to the shops at Stonefield. There is a similar protest planned for Monticello High School, and we have been told by folks within Charlottesville Public Schools that Charlottesville High School students are planning a second protest for next week. Who you do not see protesting are students at private schools. I'm going to compare and contrast the sociology and anthropology of what's happening in Charlottesville, Albemarle, and Central Virginia from a Charlottesville public school standpoint to an Albemarle public school standpoint to a outer county public school standpoint and to a private school standpoint. That will be an interesting dichotomy for us to all consider. We do not have a 1:30 meeting today, nor do we have a pressing commitment in the 1 o'clock hour. So today's show will go the distance. It will go the distance. What we've published on the I Love CVille network has undoubtedly gone viral, and I'm shocked, dismayed, and surprised that print, radio, and television has done so little to cover this. I breathed a sigh of relief that the Daily Progress had some coverage, finally, Judah, on Stefan Friedman's collapsing House of Cards, the restaurateur. A lot we're going to cover on the show. Do us a favor of liking and sharing the show. We work hard for you. That's the only thing we ask in return is like and share the show. We have a statement that we're going to read on the show today from Albemarle High School teacher Lauren Thraves. Lauren Thraves, an Albemarle High School teacher, has issued a statement to the I Love CVille network on the record. I respect the courage from Lauren Thraves, the Albemarle High School teacher who issued a statement to the I Love CVille network this morning. I was surprised to receive a statement on the record from an Albemarle High School teacher. And I can assure you that Superintendent Dr. Matthew Haas and the Albemarle County Public School System is unaware that one of their teachers has gone on the record with the media to issue a statement about students skipping school, potentially being truant, and marching to the shops of Stonefield down busied roadways and sidewalks that are narrowed and dangerous from ice and snow. Regardless, I respect the transparency and communication and candor from the Albemarle High School teacher, Lauren Thraves. She talks about social promotion in this. She talks about the fact that truancy has ravaged Albemarle High School. She talks about the fact that there's very few rules and regulations within Albemarle High School to limit and prevent this behavior. Judah, what most intrigues you?
I mean, I get that the school has to cover their butt, but it seems like they're kind of washing their hands of things, saying, along with what this teacher had to say, it seems like they are, the pretty much have they given up on discipline?
It appears at Albemarle High School that they have given up on discipline and within Albemarle County Public Schools. We'll talk about that on today's program. I mean, there is a reason that private school enrollment is booming and that public school enrollment is projected to decrease and diminish quickly. Judah Whitcarroll, let's rock and roll.
Quiet on the set.
Welcome to the I Love CVille show, guys. My name is Jerry Miller, and thank you kindly for joining us on the water cooler of content and conversation in Charlottesville, Albemarle County, across the University of Virginia and the Commonwealth of Virginia. Our show is booming with popularity and engagement in 2026. We have widened our coverage territory to include more Commonwealth-wide and macro topics with the same narrowed focus of Charlottesville, Albemarle, and Central Virginia. And this ICE protest, Immigration Customs Enforcement protest, is a perfect example. Here we have a macro storyline. The Trump administration is doing what they think is best. I'm not offering my opinion on that. What the Trump administration thinks is best to police the borders of the United States. And we've seen that terribly crescendo and terribly lead to bloodshed and death in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and elsewhere. And this macro topic has captivated the country. It's overreach, some people say. It's criminal, other people say. It's within the letter of the law, even others say. Regardless of your stance on immigration and customs enforcement and ICE protests that are happening everywhere, we are now seeing that truly impact our home, Charlottesville, Albemarle, and Central Virginia. We started seeing glimmers of this last year when masked men entered courthouses around downtown Charlottesville and grabbed men of Hispanic background and threw them into unmarked white vehicles while these masked men were toting guns on their hips and had their face covered. We all asked, what the hell is going on here? Now we're seeing this with our kids, with the next generation of Charlottesvillians and Albemarle Countyans and Central Virginians. And when our kids, when minors, when teenagers, when the next generation are involved, the topic becomes much more surreal and vulnerable and in a lot of ways authentic. Because we know as adults, and the large portion of you that are watching and listening to this show are 18 or over, you're adults. We know that in reflection, if we consider how our minds operated when we were 14 and 15 and 16 and 17 years old, we realize now with the benefit of hindsight that our view on life and our perspective on life is very different. It's called maturation. It's called maturity. When I was 15, 16, 17, even 18 years old, heck, even in my 20s, if there was an opportunity to live in the gray area, to skip school, to go have some fun, to do something outside of authority, goodness gracious, I jumped on it. And we're seeing that. We're seeing that locally in Albemarle County, within Charlottesville, with the public school systems. Now, I don't want to marginalize the efforts of the students that are protesting, that are truly authentic with their efforts and passionate in their beliefs. there, without question, are students that protested on Monday afternoon and will protest tomorrow that feel pain and fear, sorrow, anger, despair, uncertainty, terror. And those feelings are difficult enough to navigate as an adult, let alone someone that's a teenager that's going through puberty, whose minds aren't fully developed. There's also kids tomorrow and kids on Monday that are clearly taking advantage of an opportunity to be truant and to skip school and to walk outside of authority. And we have a lot to unpack on today's show, including a statement issued minutes ago from the Albemarle County Public School System to parents. I've been sent this statement that was issued at 11:01 this morning, so about 90 minutes ago, to parents about a ICE protest that's going to transpire tomorrow around Albemarle High School, the largest high school in the area. There's also a protest that's going to happen tomorrow at Monticello High School. Tomorrow, law enforcement in Albemarle County is really going to have their hands full, because they will have two distinct protests, two distinct swarms of students leaving classrooms and safety nets to walk outside the letter of the law to protest immigration, customs, and enforcement. The police will be taxed tomorrow. I'm going to highlight and break down the Albemarle County Public School statement to parents today. In this statement, Albemarle County Public Schools is without question hedging risk and trying to limit as much liability as possible, to the point where they say, and I'm going to read verbatim now, a snippet, quote, "If a student leaves campus during the school day, established reentry procedures must be followed. This means that students must be screened upon return, report to the main office, and a parent or guardian will be notified before the student may rejoin classes. For safety reasons, students who leave campus will not be permitted to ride school buses at dismissal unless they have followed all reentry protocols prior to the bus departure. And finally, while our staff is committed to ensuring student safety and well-being, our ability to supervise and provide security is limited to school property. When students leave campus, we cannot guarantee their safety or provide adult supervision." Albemarle County Public Schools is straight up saying, when your kids leave school tomorrow in protest, there's not going to be adults that supervise them, and if they get hurt, it's not our fault. They're papering the trail, documenting the trail, hedging risk and exposure, and clearly have had consultation with an attorney, if not a handful of attorneys, in this statement to parents. We're also going to compare and contrast what's happening in our community this week, the Charlottesville High School protests, tomorrow's protest at Albemarle High School and Charlottesville and Monticello High School, with what happened late last year at Western Albemarle High School. If you recall, last year, Western Albemarle High School, the Turning Point USA chapter, which received national accolades for their perseverance and their persistence, as it applies to fighting perceived injustice and community resistance from leadership, specifically Albemarle County School Board member Allison Spillman, the at-large member on the Albemarle County School Board, Allison Spillman. She beat Dr. Meg Bryce in the most contested, watched, and followed school board race, maybe in Commonwealth of Virginia history, certainly in Albemarle County history. Allison Spillman called the Turning Point USA students, kids, teenagers, minors, the Ku Klux Klan. The Ku Klux Klan. And how the community responded to Turning Point USA, a Western Albemarle chapter, in their pursuit of passion, their passions, just like the Charlottesville High School students who protest because they were passionate about something. The Western Albemarle students were passionate about something and did the same. The response from our community was very different about Turning Point USA and the tactics and procedures and protocols they followed when compared to the tactics, the procedures, and the protocols followed by the Charlottesville High School students. Some would call that hypocrisy. Some would call adults that say, hey, we stand with these Charlottesville high school students. Despite the fact that they're truant and skipping school and disobedient, we appreciate their passion. And we celebrate and champion their freedom of speech and their First Amendment rights. But what about those kids at Western? Oh no, those kids are bad. Those kids are the Klan. We don't celebrate and champion and support those kids and their First Amendment rights. But those kids, they're not skipping school. They're not truant. They just want to have a Turning Point USA colleague or affiliate or associate speak at lunchtime. Oh, that can't happen. You can't have First Amendment and freedom of speech at lunchtime on school grounds in a cafeteria at Western Albemarle High School. And Allison Spillman was in her right to call those kids the Ku Klux Klan. That's what's happened in the last 90 days, folks, in Albemarle County, in Charlottesville, in our community. Do you get that? Do we see the hypocrisy there? And what I'm offering to the show right now is not the popular opinion. I'm in the minority when it comes to perspective and opinion and popularity here. But I'm okay with that. I said this on yesterday's show. This show is not kumbaya. This show is not a yes man show. I'm not bootlicking or cowtailing to the masses. Because if I was bootlicking or cowtailing to the masses in extremely liberal Charlottesville and Albemarle County, my message, my ideology, what I relay on this microphone that is seen by a boatload of people would be much more liberal and much more left in its ideological foundation. All I do on this program is try to shoot you straight. And what I see right now is the definition of hypocrisy with a capital H. We'll unpack that on the show today. We're also going to unpack on the program today a statement issued to the I Love CVille network from Albemarle High School teacher Lauren Thraves, Thraves. I want to applaud Lauren Thraves for issuing this statement. This statement is extremely long. I would bet you this is what? 1,000 words, probably?
You know better than I would.
It's extremely long. Can you copy and paste the statement into Microsoft Word? See how many words that is? She spent a significant amount of time issuing this statement to the I Love CVille network. I would bet you Benjamin Franklin that Superintendent Matthew Haas in Albemarle County Public Schools has zero idea that one of his teachers at Albemarle High School has issued a statement to the most watched, the most listened to, and the most read platform in all of Central Virginia. Period, bar none, end of story, fact-based. But I respect in this age of clandestine communication, towing the company line, and afraid to speak out, an Albemarle High School teacher doing the exact opposite of that. And I'm going to read that statement to you, the viewer and listener, and I would bet you after this program that Superintendent Matthew Haas and some of his lieutenants will be calling Lauren Thraves into an office setting and reprimanding this Albemarle High School teacher for speaking on behalf of Albemarle County Public Schools. But I want viewers and listeners that watch this program to celebrate and champion her, because what she is doing is speaking from her heart and being frank and authentic. We need more of that in the world today. There's a lot we're going to cover on today's broadcast, ladies and gentlemen. I remind the viewers and listeners that are watching the show that Chief Mike Kochis is on the show tomorrow. The police chief, Mike Kochis, is on the show tomorrow. Should be a fantastic interview. I also, as a reminder, will highlight that John McGuire, the United States Congressman, will be on the I Love CVille show next week. In person, John McGuire on the I Love CVille show next week. There's one element I want to get out of the notebook first, and that's the Boston to Cho airline. Let's put that lower third on screen, please. This is just a bit of business and a bit of news that we need to get out there. It was passed on to me by by someone that I trust and respect. There's a direct flight that's in the mix. Charlottesville, Albemarle, and the CHO, the city of Charlottesville, its Office of Economic Development, is asking the community if it wants a direct flight to and from Boston from CHO, from the Charlottesville Albemarle Airport. And the whole purpose of this direct flight is to further connect the biotechnology boom that's happening in Charlottesville and Albemarle County. And the Office of Economic Development is straight up saying, if we have this direct tie to Boston, which is one of the world's most important hubs for life sciences, venture capital, higher education, and advanced technology, that it's going to drive economic growth and economic prosperity to Charlottesville and Albemarle County, including incremental citizenry to Charlottesville and Albemarle County. So the Office of Economic Development is saying, let's get a direct flight to Boston. And that's going to drive more wealthy people to live here and drive more economic prosperity. But they also don't cover on this, and of course they're not going to do it. It's the Office of Economic Development. It's also going to rapidly increase gentrification and the homogeneous transformation, the wealthy and white transformation of Charlottesville and Albemarle. It's clearly happening. We all see it, right? All right, I want to give some attention on the show first to Conan Owen of Sir Speedy of Central Virginia. Conan Owen is a Darden graduate. Sir Speedy of Central Virginia is who you contact for anything signage related, anything marketing collateral related. We have 24 tenants in our real estate portfolio, most of them commercial. They use Sir Speedy of Central Virginia for their signage needs. We do as a firm, the banner behind me, the lettering on our storefront, direct mail, trifold pamphlets, merchandise, clothing, lanyards, stickers, you name it. If you have a logo and you need a tangible marketing application for it, I would suggest Conan Owen and Sir Speedy of Central Virginia. Judah Wickower on a two-shot, first the studio camera, then a two-shot, as print, radio, and television is watching our program. Again, did you see the Stefan Friedman story in the Daily Progress? Finally came out today. Very well done by friend of the program, Hall Spencer.
I saw it was finally addressed.
Story came out this morning, Thursday. We were covering that story this past Friday when it broke. Mm-hmm. So we offered you coverage Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, before Legacy Media offered coverage today. That's 4 days ahead of Legacy Media there. Diane Garrison, Nick Pollock, Barbara Becker-Tilley, Spencer Pushard, Logan Wells Colelo, and every Legacy Media outlet in Central Virginia is watching the program right now, as are elected officials of the local variety from multiple jurisdictions. We have delegates and state senators watching the program, judges, attorneys, financiers, and respected individuals from the top hedge fund locally that is near and dear to my heart. My friend, where do you want to begin? I thought you were extremely on point yesterday. This is Judah Wickower, trusted voice in this community. Show is yours. Where do you want to start?
You know, I think I need to reiterate for anyone that wasn't here yesterday that this is not about the protesting. I mean, you know, we are addressing the fact that that there's a bit of hypocrisy in what kind of freedom of speech is approved and what kind is not. But for the most part, this is about this is about the schools being responsible for kids and having administration and teachers and staff who are cheering them on as they leave school grounds, leaving the schools in a lot of potential hot water. I'm pretty sure that what is it juniors and seniors who are allowed off grounds of high school? I think they probably have to get permission first, because I would imagine that most parents want to know what their kids are doing, and some of them probably don't want their kids leaving grounds. So, sending out a letter saying we're not responsible is, it's kind of a week out. passing the buck when the school should, I think, definitely be taking some responsibility here.
First lower third on screen. Relay that lower third to the viewers and listeners, please.
That is Albemarle and Monticello are now planning on having walkouts as well.
Flyers were posted and published by Albemarle High School students and Monticello High School students. The first thing that struck me from the Albemarle High School flyer and the Monticello High School flyer were the misspelled words and the grammatical errors. It's disheartening at best, damning more realistically, credibility damning, when your call to action, marketing collateral, are riddled with mistakes. There are English teachers, frankly, teachers across the board that saw those flyers that cringed with seeing the mistakes and the errors. The first piece of advice I would offer to any of the teenagers and students that watch and listen to this show, if they choose to watch and listen to the show, is you never get a second chance to make a first impression. And the most basic elements of breeding trust and credibility is utilizing the English language the right way, especially in its written form, especially in a capacity that's going to be widely seen by a lot of people. Both flyers had mistakes. I was disheartened by that. Second element that I want to highlight is this. Charlottesville was the first to lead the ICE protest charge. That's probably to be expected. I would imagine that there is no more left-leaning, liberal-leaning, or protest-willing high school in the region than Charlottesville High School. Probably your second most left-leaning and liberal-leaning and protest-willing high school in the area is Albemarle. Then your third most likely, ladies and gentlemen, is Monticello High School. And it frankly is just a reflection of the demographics of the three schools. Western Albemarle High School, for example, is an Albemarle County public school, but Western Albemarle is monikered St. Anne's or Stab West for a reason. The students that are attending Western Albemarle High School are overwhelmingly white and overwhelmingly wealthy. Albemarle High School is the complete opposite of Western, and Monticello is somewhere in the middle. There's a reason you haven't seen the Western Albemarle students choose to protest ICE. There's also a reason you've seen the Western Albemarle students become front page national news for a TPUSA protest. More on that later. In regards to the Albemarle High School protest, I'm extremely concerned about this. The call to action flyer, I don't know if you can find that off my Facebook page and put it. I probably should have told you to do this before the show. You have it?
No, I can get it.
But is that going to impede on the show in any capacity?
It shouldn't.
I'd rather you not if it's going to impede the show, if you're not 100% certain on that.
Okay.
Okay. By now you've seen the flyer. The Albemarle High School students are going to be skipping most of the day, and they're going to be walking to the shops of Stonefield. A couple of things that I want to highlight. The shops of Stonefield are private property. These students, if the owners of the shops of Stonefield, which is a private equity firm out of New York, it can choose to arrest these students for trespassing. You cannot protest at the shops of Stonefield. You cannot protest at Barracks Road Shopping Center. You can protest on the downtown mall. The Charlottesville High School students, a little bit more seeing the forest through the trees. They marched from Charlottesville High School down by Woodard Plaza, my wife said, and up to the downtown mall. The Charlottesville High School students chose to stay and march and protest on public property. Charlottesville roads. The downtown mall, which by the letter of the law is public, it's actually by letter of the law seen as a park. You can protest in downtown Charlottesville. Good God, we're in downtown Charlottesville ourselves. We've seen every Tom, Dick, and Harry, every Jennifer, Sally, and Kelly protesting in downtown Charlottesville over every single protest thing possible. There's probably going to be a protest about John McGuire coming on the show sometime next week. That's why we haven't announced the actual date. Chief Kachis tomorrow, though. The only protest that's going to come of Chief Kachis is 20 to 55-year-old women asking Chief Kachis to sign their chests, the George Clooney of policing. John McGuire, on the other hand, if that guy gets on the internet one more time and takes a photo with him wearing a gas-powered leaf blower that looks like it's the size of a bazooka, what are you doing, John? Your message in that Facebook post was fantastic, but why is your gas-powered leaf blower the size of Rambo's bazooka or Mr. T's machine gun? All right, I'm getting off track. The students at Charlottesville High School protested and marched on public property. The Albemarle County students are going to go to the Shops of Stonefield. I'm curious to see how the Shops of Stonefield, privately owned by a private equity firm out of New York, handles a couple hundred teenagers, truant, protesting on their property. Very curious to see how that plays out. I also am extremely concerned about marching and walking down Rio Road. A couple hundred students marching and walking down Rio Road, that is dangerous to the Shops of Stonefield. What's also dangerous is that there's 2 protests now happening, so Albemarle County Police will be a little bit more stretched. The Monticello one and the Albemarle High School one.
Are they on the same days?
Same days. Look at the flyers. Exact same days, same time. Same day, same time. It's now gotten to the point where Albemarle County Public Schools has issued a statement, and viewers and listeners, put your comments in the feed. I will relay them live on air. I think you have another lower third to put on screen about the statement. And then, Judah, you share some perspective. I'm going to read the statement to the viewers and listeners verbatim. This has been sent to me by 100-plus people so far. It came out at 11:01 this morning, so about 2 hours ago. Dear Albemarle County Public School families, in the light of recent student walkout at Charlottesville High School, we want to take a moment to clarify expectations regarding attendance, student voice, and maintaining a safe and productive learning environment. We recognize that students care deeply about issues affecting our community and our nation. Civic engagement is an important part of democratic life, and we value student expression of their perspectives and lived realities. At the same time, we are responsible for ensuring student safety and minimizing disruption to instruction. And so, we ask you to please remind your child, they use the word child here.
Yeah.
I want to emphasize the use of the word child, not adult,
Right.
child. I'll continue. And so we ask you to please remind your child that students are required to remain on campus during the school day. Any students who wish to organize or participate in a demonstration are encouraged to speak with their principal in advance so that school leadership can explore options that allow students to express themselves while remaining on school grounds and maintaining a safe environment. Please note that participation in a demonstration during scheduled class time will still result in an absence from class and be addressed in accordance with the attendance policy. That's called truancy. Those are my words. They're saying your kid will be truant, which is what we said yesterday. This is truancy. Next paragraph, if a student leaves campus during the school day, established reentry procedures must be followed. This means that students must be screened upon return, report to the main office, and a parent or guardian will be notified before the student may rejoin classes. For safety reasons, students who leave campus will not be permitted to ride school buses at dismissal unless they have followed all reentry protocols prior to bus departure. This is the most important paragraph, and they buried the lead.
No doubt.
They buried the lead. Get ready for the most important paragraph. Finally, while our staff are committed to ensuring student safety and well-being, our ability to supervise and provide security is limited to school property. When students leave campus, we cannot guarantee their safety or provide adult supervision. We appreciate your partnership in reinforcing these expectations and in supporting both student voice and safe, focused learning environment for all. Judah Wickower.
Well, what stood out to me was the fact that they have security procedures, and I'm wondering how much of those were followed yesterday, in terms of established reentry procedures that must be followed. Students must be screened upon return.
Are you talking Monday, the Charlottesville High School protest?
Yeah.
Okay, this is Albemarle
Monday.
County Public Schools, the statement, which is different than Charlottesville, but yeah.
But I'm sure they have similar procedures.
I would agree with that.
And so I'm questioning how much those procedures were followed with the prior protest the prior walkout, and like you said, bearing the lead, talking about the fact that when kids leave the school has no ability to protect or provide adult supervision. We have people claiming that there were parents or some adults along with
which is absolute
last
garbage,
walkout.
absolute BS. The folks that put on the I Love CVille network yesterday that, oh, there were some adults walking with the hundreds of students at Charlottesville High School. That is bogus. The adults cannot supervise a couple of hundred kids, 100 plus kids. 100 plus teenagers are not going to listen to some random adult. I'll tell you a story, and this is going to paint me in a terrible light, but I'll tell the story anyway. My junior and senior year in Williamsburg, Virginia, I went to a private school called Walsingham Academy. Actually, sophomore, junior, and senior. I went to Walsingham from 4th grade on. But my sophomore, junior, and senior year, I started getting invited to proms. 10th grade year, I dated a senior in high school. She invited me to her prom 10th grade year. Junior year, I went to prom at my school and then prom at 2 of the public schools. Senior year, prom at my high school and prom at the 2 other high schools. So from sophomore, junior, and senior year, I went to 7 proms. I behaved much better at Walsingham's prom with the teachers and the supervision that were there that saw me every day. When I went to prom at Jamestown High School and prom at Lafayette High School with girls from those respective schools, I was the guy that was in the parking lot smoking cigarettes and drinking alcohol. When the teachers came up to me and said, hey, you can't smoke cigarettes and drink alcohol here. This is a school. My response to them was, I don't go to school here. There's nothing that you can do to me. And they walked away. Literally said that to them. I am not a student of Lafayette High School or Jamestown High School. There's nothing that you can do to me. And continued smoking a Camel Light and drinking a Natural Light before going to the prom. If anyone thinks that 100 plus students that are marching from Charlottesville High School to the downtown mall will listen to 1 or 2 random adults that are with them, and you can straight face call those adults supervision, you are full of it. You are absolutely full of it. And Albemarle County Public Schools knows that. And they are straight up saying, if your kid leaves school on Friday, there will be no supervision and we are not responsible for their safety. And Albemarle County Public Schools is doing this because if a couple of hundred kids goes from Albemarle High School and walks to the shops of Stonefield and they're arrested for trespassing at a shopping center that's owned by a private equity firm out of New York, Albemarle High School is going to say, we washed our hands of this behavior. We sent you an email on Thursday morning. We're absolved. Even worse, if something happens to those kids, traffic, injury, anything, Albemarle High School, they will not get sued now. They will straight up said, no, we documented the trail. This is on you.
Yeah.
The blood is on your hands. This is on you.
This is on your parents.
This is on your parents. That's what Albemarle High School just did. Charlottesville High School did not do that. Mm-hmm. It's very different. Charlottesville High School did not do that. There were not protocols or procedures.
And they got lucky.
They got so lucky. And I can guarantee you that now that there's a second protest plan, I think there's another lower third put on screen. We've been contacted by a lot of people tied to Charlottesville High School. And a second protest amongst Charlottesville High School students is being coordinated and planned now. We will see if it materializes. I can guarantee you that Superintendent Dr. Royale Gurley and the Charlottesville School Board are going to be much better prepared for another truancy protest. I can guarantee you they document the trail, they paper the trail with language that absolves them of liability and risk. I can assure you that will happen. I can assure you that will happen. And speaking about Dr. Gurley, the superintendent of Charlottesville Public Schools, Dr. Gurley is on a very fragile ground of employment. Dr. Gurley basically spat in the face of Charlottesville Public School teachers and support staff with what he did this past Friday, issuing a statement airing grievances tied to negotiations and a 10.5% raise that eventually materialized this past Monday for support staff. How that was handled on both sides, the teacher education, the teacher union side, and the superintendent side and the school board side, all of them looked terrible. They all looked bad professionally. The teacher union for missing a deadline, the superintendent and the school board for airing the dirty laundry of a negotiation. But the one who took it really on the chin and got kicked in the nuts professionally the most was Superintendent Gurley. He's on fragile employment ground. And if he doesn't handle these ICE truancy protests carefully and cautiously and strategically, that's the first body to fall.
Maybe.
The first body to mark it down. Mark it down. Jump in, Judah, and then we'll get to comments here on the water cooler of content and conversation. Lower thirds to put on screen as well if we should have others that are on there.
Yeah, I don't know. I think what kind of disappoints me is how blasé everyone seems to be with kids just, leaving class. I get that that there is that there's a cheering squad for these kids, standing up for the rights of friends and family, and getting political, believing strongly in something. And I think most of us can appreciate that, but there's a time and place. And the fact that no one is providing an outlet for these students and just letting them make their own choices about, leaving school, walking through city and county streets is troubling to me. You would think that somebody would step forward and say, "Look, why don't we organize these students into something not just safer, but I don't know." I think ultimately a lot of people believe that the walking out, the getting us to talk about it, the outrage is exactly what the walkouts are about: getting attention, getting your message out to people because people are talking about it, and maybe that's I don't know. I still think that that this is irresponsible on the part of the schools, and depending on what we see with the parents of these other classes, we'll see how irresponsible the parents are.
James Watson watching the program. He's a friend and a key guy in our family, James Watson. He wants to know why we're so bothered by student walkouts. I want to put what's happening into perspective and compare and contrast it to Western Albemarle High School and Turning Point USA. Okay. I want to caveat my commentary by saying I am all for freedom of speech. I host a talk show. I'm all for the First Amendment. I host a talk show. Mm-hmm. 5 days a week from 12:30 to 1:30. We've become the voice of the region, whether you like it or not, and some of you don't like it. But that's just what's happened. The metrics back it up. There's no brand or platform that reaches more people in a 300,000 person region than ours, except for the University of Virginia. Period. Facts. You could probably take the legacy media and combine it into one, and still we're outreaching them. My issue is not with the First Amendment. My issue is not with freedom of speech. Mm-hmm. My issue is not with Trumponian policy. My issue is not with Border Patrol and Immigration and Customs Enforcement. My entire issue is about child safety. And my entire issue is about hypocrisy. First, let's talk the most important, child safety. My wife and I have 2 boys. We drop our oldest off at school. He goes to a private school. We catch grief for that. I'm fine with that. Private school is expensive. We pay a lot of money for it. We feel comfortable at this environment with our oldest. That's why we do it, because we love him and we'll do anything for him. But we drop our oldest off at a school that we trust. And that trust is 1,000% centered around this premise. When we drop him off at school, he's going to be safe and taken care of until the time we pick him up from school. And if anything were to happen between the period of dropping him off and picking him up, immediate communication will happen with the parents if it's about safety or injury. When Charlottesville High School students go to school on a Monday and they leave school before the end of the day and they walk unsupervised from Charlottesville High School to the downtown mall, which is not a hop, skip, and a jump, that's miles of walk. And they do it in unsupervised capacity without parents knowing, with either teachers encouraging them or teachers also not knowing, principals encouraging them or principals not knowing. That impacts the entire premise of trust in school. Kid goes there, kid stays there, kid is safe there, parents know that, they trust it, and because of that, school is reality. If in any turn of events, the parent does not trust that their kid is safe at school, the concept of school crumbles. It's like the UVA health system. Sick person walks into the UVA health system. Sick person trusts the UVA health system will do what's best for them to help them not die and to overcome that sickness. The biggest issue that I had with the UVA health system alleged white-collar racketeering, where the health system was changing medical charts to maintain performance standards and national rankings, and prioritizing profits over patients, doing extremely risky medical procedures to drive revenue, even though doctors were telling the C-suite, if we do this type of work, this patient could die or could be hurt really badly, and then the C-suite said, do it anyway because we need the money. Right. The health system prioritizing elective surgery over COVID and pandemic patients because COVID and pandemic patients, the profit margin was minuscule to breast implants and nose jobs and facelifts. That crumbles the concept of trust with the health system, of me walking in there, hey, am I really getting the best consultation and medical advice? Or are you putting profits over me? Drop our kids off at school. Is my kid really safe here? Or is he going to sneak out the back door and walk miles to the downtown mall on a road?
With a teacher cheering him on.
With teachers cheering them on.
Like, shouldn't you trust your kids' teachers that they're not going to allow your kid to just leave school?
This is not about protesting immigration and customs enforcement. This is about protocols and procedures that breed, maintain trust. And trust is paramount for the entire concept of school to work. That's my issue with school walkouts, James. Now, a second issue I have with school walkouts, and then we're going to get to comments here, viewers and listeners. Can we compare and contrast do you call it selective outrage?
Yeah, selective outrage.
Let's compare and contrast the selective outrage with Western Albemarle High School, a predominantly, and by predominantly, I think it's like 97 or 98% complete white. Deep Throat can give us that number. John Blair can give us that number. Western Albemarle High School is like 97, 98, 99% white. It's extremely wealthy, It's monikered Stab West, St. Anne's Belfield Academy West. You look in the parking lot and you see the hand-me-downs from mommy and daddy that are BMWs, Lexuses, Grand Cherokees, lifted F-150s, Mercedes-Benz, Rovers, Volvos, you name it. It's in that parking lot. This student body leans right, not left. Is probably more center-aisle, but certainly more conservative than Albemarle High School or Charlottesville High School. What, 90 days ago, maybe 60 days ago?
Yeah, I think it was October.
Yeah, just the fourth quarter of last year, Q4 of last year, a small group of kids, so small that they could fill one, not even fill one classroom, wanted to host a speaker. Mm-hmm. And this speaker was going to talk about sexuality and gender. And goodness gracious, a school board member specifically named Allison Spillman, who has a transgender child. Maybe she was drinking too much wine that night when she was posting on social media. Maybe Allison Spillman had one too many high noons. Allie, did you have one too many White Claws? Because you don't strike me as a Scotch or bourbon drinker. And goodness gracious, Allie, you're not drinking 3 Notch Minutemen or Emperor of Clouds. I think Allie Spillman, you're pounding those White Claws or those high noons. And she decides to shoot off and pump her keyboard muscles, flex her keyboard muscles, and starts comparing TP USA students to the effing Ku Klux Klan. Exact words, the Ku Klux Klan. And before she knows it, she opens up a Pandora's box that left her for about a week, sleepless, riddled with anxiety, her husband's business ravaged by internet trolls, attacked and ravaged. She has to offer an apology. Some folks call it alligator tears on the dais to her school board meeting, begging the community locally and across the country to leave her and her family alone. Since Allie Spillman pounded those high noons and those White Claws and flexed her keyboard muscles, she's changed her name on social media, abbreviated it, so people can't find her. She's begged for forgiveness, whether authentic or not. And she's kept her mouth shut. Have you noticed, viewers and listeners? She's kept her mouth shut. She's not pounding high noons and White Claws and pumping the keyboard like she used to on social media. But the community revolted against a dozen Western Albemarle TP USA students who wanted the same thing, free speech and First Amendment. We exercise our free speech and First Amendment rights to protest and be passionate about something. This speaker that's going to talk to us about transgender and sexuality and gender identification. And the same people that are going balls to the wall in support for the Charlottesville High School truancy protest, the skipping school protest, the same people that are pounding their chests and say, let's go kids, you're the next future of our country, you're the best and brightest, let's go, are the same people that urinated and disparaged and disenfranchised a dozen kids from Western. Mm-hmm. That's another reason I have beef here, because that's called hypocrisy.
Yep.
That's the definition of hypocrisy here. And this opinion is not the popular one. What I'm saying here is not popular. I'm not trying to bootlick and gain likes and support in this community, because if I did, I'd get on here and do the same thing Allison Spillman did. I'd be let's go, Charlottesville High School students. Shame on you, TPA USA students. I'm literally going to bat for not just the underdog, but the disliked underdog. Mm. Literally the disliked underdog. But that's why this show works and why you guys watch and listen, because we're unfiltered, unaffiliated, unabashed, and unafraid with our commentary. Now, we got Jake, I love when people comment on our Facebook page, like this guy Jake, who only has one name on his Facebook page and does not have a photo on his profile. We got the trolls out. You know you're clicking on all cylinders when the bots and the trolls get in the chat box, like Jake. Hey, Jake. The bot and the troll named Jake. People should disregard anyone on social media that is not using their first and last name if they're posting. That's my issue with Reddit and the keyboard muscles of anonymity. Is the next headline the teacher statement?
Yeah.
We should give some love to Charlottesville Sanitary Supply. 62 years in business, Charlottesville Sanitary Supply. Online at charlottesvillesanitarysupply.com. God, these people are so good. They're so honest. They're so communicative. John and Andrew Vermillion have lived their family in Albemarle County for 5 generations, and their business, Charlottesville Sanitary Supply, is 3 generations strong. They have a sister company called Charlottesville Swimming Pool Company. They take care of our family pool. Yes, we have a swimming pool at our house. Worked my ass off for 18 years to afford a house that has a swimming pool. They help us take care of our swimming pool. Water testing, water cleaning, pool robots, pool covers, anything sanitary needed, Charlottesville Sanitary Supply has it. And you can order it online at charlottesvillesanitarysupply.com, and it will be delivered to your doorstep for free, oftentimes the same day, and at a price that is better than the big box stores. This is the best company, Charlottesville Sanitary Supply. They're good people. Let's get to the teacher statement. I am surprised. I am impressed. I am in awe. I am dismayed. I honestly want more of this from Lauren Thraves. She's an Albemarle High School teacher. There's a teacher named Lauren, Lauren Thraves, Thraves, that has issued a statement to the I Love CVille network about this truancy protest in skipping school.
Yeah.
God, I wish we live in a world of more candor and transparency with communication, instead of this world we live in that toes the company line, that is word salad, that is unafraid to say anything of merit. We need more of the Charles Barkleys of the world, more of the Judah Wickhowers and Jerry Millers and Lauren Thraves of the world. As long as it's not Allie Spillman pumping high noons and White Claws and flexing her keyboard muscles on a Wednesday night comparing kids to the Ku Klux Klan. Don't do that, Allie Spillman. Lauren Thraves. You ready for this statement? This is long. How many words? Did you pump this into Microsoft Word?
I found a word counter online. It's 686 words.
We have an Albemarle High School teacher that 10 hours ago, Jesus, so this must have been, what is this, like 3 in the morning? She did this 10 hours ago. This is like 3:30 in the morning. Did she do this before she woke up to school?
Let's see.
Here's the statement. This is long, but there's so much to unpack here. And can I assure you, Lauren Thraves, after you've issued this statement to the I Love CVille network, Superintendent Matthew Haas and his lieutenants are going to be calling you into their office. And you know what? You go into that office with your chest bucked out, and you say, Superintendent Matthew Haas, talk to my union rep.
It was 3:01 a.m.
She pumped this out at 3:01 a.m. Here's the statement. Desperate times call for desperate measures, period. I am a teacher at Albemarle High School, which is the most diverse school in this area, and we are a minority-majority school. We also have the highest ELL and ESOL population of any school in this area. Is ESOL English as a second language? Can you find out what ELL and ESOL mean for me, please?
Yeah.
I should know that. We have the highest ELL and ESOL population of any school in this area. We host many refugee families and students. I have students that are afraid. I have students whose families have been ripped apart. I have coworkers that are afraid. I have coworkers whose families have been torn apart. I have far more students that are regularly and consistently truant, kids that continually skip class who are actually in the building, but because our attendance policy is not enforced and our grading policies are terrible, are actually truant. The amount of students that want to participate in their right to express their beliefs for one school day far outweighs the number of students that will choose to not be at school. I also fully recognize that there is a large population of students that will not be at school because they are afraid of what might happen to them and or their families, which is why this is alarming, and which is why I love that much of our student body will be there in lieu of students who are afraid or don't feel like they can stand up. As a teacher and a firm believer in human rights, I support students practicing their First Amendment rights. As educators, especially in high school, we are held responsible to counsel, teach, lead, provide guidance, and promote independence and encourage young adults to think and do for themselves. Let's give them a real-life opportunity to exercise their rights. How is this not a beautiful lesson in advocating for things you believe in? Standing up for those that cannot and or do not have the means to do it themselves, promoting, supporting your community, etc. She continues, there are two different conversations happening in this thread. The first one, truancy. The second one, the protest. Get ready for this. Get ready for this and take advantage of any opportunity solely to not have to be in class. Absolutely, I do. But we are not here to split hairs. The students that will be marked as an unverified or unexcused absence are either standing up and fighting for what they believe in and their rights and the rights of their peers, or they will skip school, which they are doing anyways. The ones that just want an out, they are already failing. And our system will push them through to cross that stage at the end of their senior year anyways. This will eventually catch up with them. Lauren Thraves is being so authentically genuine here. I effing love it. I'm going to continue from her statement. This is not an issue of truancy. That is the narrative of the side that does not want people to stand up against or disagree with MAGA, and they will spin and portray. The majority of students that will participate in this are students that are feeling this deeply. This is their reality. They are focused here. There is not a damn formula or a date in history that could change my understanding and belief. I also fully recognize that as a white privileged woman, I will never truly understand or even come close to experience the injustices or repercussions of being born in the right place and being born of the right color, etc., that so many in our community are feeling. Long story short, our job as educators is to fully prepare students to launch into adulthood, be independent, think for themselves, make decisions for themselves. I've seen no more valuable lesson than young adults standing up for what they believe, standing up for their peers, standing up for their community, and standing up for those in this country that are currently not being treated fairly. There's no magical math lesson I can teach in one day that will come anywhere close to the weight and importance of this lesson that sadly young adults in this world, in this current climate, are forced to meet head on. That's Lauren Thraves, an Albemarle High School teacher, and her statement to literally the I Love CVille network. Lauren Thraves, props to you for your communication and candor. So much to unpack on that statement. Judah, do you want to go first?
Oh, man. Yeah, I mean, some of it, she may have been drinking White Claws as well when she wrote this. There are some parts that make...
She's a special education teacher at Albemarle County Public Schools. Go ahead.
Little sense. I don't believe there are injustices or repercussions of being born in the right place and being born of the right color. I think she meant the wrong place and the wrong color. Man, just because truancy is an endemic problem in your school doesn't mean you ignore it or let other students do the same. I mean, am I crazy for making that statement? Like, because people are, you know, just because some people have stolen from the corner store doesn't mean everybody gets to do it. I'm flabbergasted by the fact that she's so blasé about students just skipping class. You know, I get it. There are going to be kids that do that, but to come out and say the quiet part that the school's just going to push them through at the end of the year, and that you know, they're going to do it anyways. So why not let the let the good kids do it as well?
That's what she's basically saying.
Yeah,
She's basically saying there's an obvious percentage of Albemarle High School that is going to skip school, that is going to be truant, that has no interest in being school, and Albemarle County Public Schools are going to socially promote those kids anyway, not hold them back. They're going to walk across the stage, they're going to get a diploma, and then they're going to be thrown to civilization and society as if they're the proverbial and metaphorical feral cats in the back alley of the restaurant. That is what she's saying right there.
Yeah.
And she's saying it is what it is. And she's basically alluding that our truancy and our protocols and our procedures to enforcing grade level performance and basic attendance is so piss poor that we just look the other way and just say, it is what it is.
Yeah, because if it was a problem throughout high school students, no
Unbelievable,
matter
here.
the high school, then we would have the same problems everywhere, including at places like like private high schools.
I salute Lauren Thraves for her absolute straightforwardness and authenticity, and I'm not saying I agree with it, but goodness gracious, she spared no expense here. She's straight up saying there is no way to police or keep these kids in school, and if they choose to leave, a lot of times they're just hiding and roaming the building.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to cheer for that.
I'm not cheering that for at all.
I know. I'm
that's
just saying.
sad.
Yeah.
This is why we have a class system. This is the definition of educational gentrification, an educational gap that breeds wealth gap, that breeds poverty and marginalized citizens. And this is happening at Albemarle County Public Schools, a school system that is cherished and championed for its curriculum, for its performance, its pedigree. Mm-hmm. Lauren Thraves, I appreciate your comment. I would imagine, Lauren Thraves, you have an email in your work inbox from Superintendent Matthew Haas and some of his lieutenants for an immediate meeting, probably as early as today, maybe tomorrow. Lauren Thraves, I would encourage you, and someone should mention this to Lauren Thraves, to get a hold of Mary McIntyre, the Albemarle Education Teachers Union, and to immediately speak with your union rep before talking to anyone that's tied to Matthew Haas or his cabinet or lieutenants. Do not speak Lauren Thraves until you have a union rep with you.
Probably wise.
Just free advice. Thank you for your statement, though. What have we not covered on the show? And then we'll get to comments on the program that I have not been keeping up with. We have the newspaper in Richmond watching the program. We have TV stations in Lynchburg and Richmond watching the program, as does local media. Print, radio, and television. This is what you should be reporting upon. Print, radio, and television, if you want your crumbling business models to survive, report and cover stories that matter to the community. And there's nothing that is more cross-aisle unifying than our children. Is there anything we haven't covered 65 minutes into the program yet on that rundown of headlines? I talked about the direct flight with Boston and Charlottesville Albemarle Airport.
I think we've got everything.
If there's a direct flight with Boston and the Charlottesville Albemarle Airport, get ready for the expedition of gentrification. Mark that down. Because you're going to see Bostonians, is it Bostonians? Probably. Bostonians with second homes in Charlottesville. It's going to have much more of an impact, Boston to Charlottesville, than Charlottesville to Boston from a gentrification and from an income level impact, median family household income impact. Let's go to number one in the family, Deep Throat. Viewers and listeners, we appreciate your patience. First, Deep Throat says Western Albemarle High School is 1% black. 1% black, 7% Hispanic. The rest is a mix of white, Asian, Pacific Islander. Then he says Lauren Thraves. It's Thraves, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Lauren Thraves. Why could the kids not wait till 3:01 p.m. to protest? And then he gives her a little bit of a zinger. I'm not going to read the zinger because I appreciate Lauren Thraves'
candor.
and the fact that she issued this statement to us. And I won't zing her for being authentic.
Okay.
Deep Throat says, amazing people cannot split this into two constituent questions. Should kids protest? 1. And should the protest take place during instructional time? 2.
Yeah.
Obviously, he says, kids can protest if they feel strongly. Mm-hmm. Obviously, they shouldn't protest during instructional times too.
Yeah.
This is the most obvious thing in the whole effing world.
That's what we've been trying to discuss. And yeah, because we don't have a problem with kids protesting.
This is the most obvious thing in the whole world. He also says this, as a Charlottesville taxpayer, I pay, this is his words. Oh man, where did it go? We've had communications for going on years now. Here it is. As a Charlottesville taxpayer, I pay tens of thousands of dollars a year in property taxes, and I don't use the public schools. He goes, I am annoyed by walkouts on instructional time. The implicit deal is that I pay taxes and get squat personally because I trust that the school system is creating an informed, capable citizenry, which is a public good. Mm-hmm. But if the kids are just marching out when they feel like it, and the administrators are closing the schools for every flurry, snow, or ice, to the point that education isn't happening, then that bargain is being broken.
Yeah.
It's a great point. Mm-hmm. If the kids would rather ditch instructional time to cosplay the civil rights movement while they can march around for free, close the school and give me back my tax money.
Yeah, no doubt. And to add to that, you know that the schools are asking for more money, right?
Yeah. Albemarle County Public Schools is asking the taxpayers. The school board of Albemarle County is asking the taxpayers of Albemarle County for $250 million to build a new high school.
They're also saying that they're, I think $900,000 short in order to pay that 10.5% increase for the Charlottesville Education Alliance, whatever it is.
Charlottesville Education Association.
Staff. Yeah, for the sports staff.
They're getting a 10.5% raise for the next 3 years compounded. 10.5%?
10.5%.
10.5%?
Yeah.
And then 10.5% compounded.
And so
who's paying that, viewers and listeners? You are.
We are.
And we are. You're right. I'm in there too. And I am all for teachers and support staff getting paid more money. They're heroes and they're underpaid and they can't afford to live here. But the issue is when you close the schools for wind and heat and snow and ice and protests and for brawls that happen over Thanksgiving like a couple of years ago, or teacher sickouts, coordinated sickouts, those taxpayers become a little squeamish when you continue to pass the hat and ask for more.
Yeah. Especially if you're not seeing results.
Especially with performance heading in the wrong direction. And the performance is clearly, tangibly, statistically, data-driven, heading in the wrong direction. And whether people want to hear this or not, and here's another indication of me being straightforward and willing to go against the popular line. Weldon Cooper, a third-party statistician, mm-hmm. What do they do? Demographers, is that the word?
Sure.
They literally are presenting case study after case study, data after data, that public schools in Charlottesville and Albemarle County are going to dramatically diminish in enrollment and headcount, while at the same time, the private schools in Albemarle County and Charlottesville are increasing with headcount. I want you to think about that. And I can assure you that truancy, skipping school protests will not be a call to action for parents to enroll kids again in that public school setting. Comments coming in. Carol Thorpe wants to highlight that there's a huge age range between a 14 and 15-year-old and an 18-year-old skipping school.
No doubt.
that we should be talking about this. 14 and 15-year-olds are skipping school. And the difference between maturity and mindset between a 14 and 15-year-old that's skipping to protest and an 18-year-old. James says, you mentioned a lot about how the socioeconomics in Charlottesville are becoming problematic due to the cost of living, and I think a portion of kids find the school to be a safe, warm place where there's a meal. Definitely much different here than 10 to 15 years ago. Some are actually working jobs into the night, late for someone that age. It's really a whole different ball game out there.
No doubt.
Frankie Bourne, I bet none of these students would show up for the protest if it was on a Saturday. Many of them, I bet, are just trying to be out of school. Lauren Thraves, the teacher, straight up says that.
Yeah. We obviously don't know how many.
We don't know how many. Tom Powell, the founder of Toylift, they can say they don't authorize it, but they are doing nothing to stop it. God forbid something happens to a child, the lawyers will have a field day. I actually don't think the lawyers will have a field day with the Albemarle County Public School protest.
Yeah, because they've covered themselves.
They cover themselves. With the Charlottesville High School protest, they did. And Dr. Royale...
I would rather have them protecting kids than covering their butts.
Dr. Royale Gurley and the Charlottesville School Board, you better issue a statement now. Let's do a prop bet. Viewers and listeners, who wants to do a prop bet? Here's my prop bet. That Superintendent Royale Gurley and the Charlottesville City School Board will have a documented statement in the inbox of parents before school starts on Monday. Let's put the over-under on Monday at 6 a.m. Are you going to take over Monday at 6 a.m. or under Monday at 6 a.m. for a $75 bottle of booze?
I'm not playing, but I think...
Come on!
But I think it's probably before.
I think that statement is being drafted as we speak. Mm-hmm. Who wants to... Royale Gurley, you watch the show. Superintendent, the school board members definitely watch the show. If you folks are not issuing a statement via your listserv to parents about skipping school and truancy protests, and if you don't have that in the inbox of parents immediately, you guys are morons. You guys do not see the legal force, the liability force through the trees. This is like liability 101. Comments are coming in faster than I can keep up. The trolls are out. The trolls are in the chat box. Judah, the trolls are in the chat box.
That's okay.
Curtis Shaver, Vanessa Parkhill, welcome to the program. One of the trolls says this. You goofy clowns think a day of school skipped is detrimental. This is also coming from Jake the bot, who has 2 Facebook friends, doesn't have a last name on Facebook, nor does he have a profile picture.
I personally have less of a problem with kids missing a day of class because where I went to school in Maine, we missed class due to bad weather all the time, and we made it up at the end of the year.
The crazy thing is, where I went to school at Walsingham, and we were in a private school setting, but we were the folks, my family was the folks scraping by in the private school setting. If you've been in that scenario, you know what that's like. That was our family. Our family entrepreneurs busted our tail. My parents busted their tail, self-employed, bookkeepers and accountant, to squirrel away every dime to send my brother and I to a private school. Literally. At that school, if you missed a day of school or 2 days of school, you were way behind and struggling to catch up. The pace of that school was rigorous, to say the least. I've seen it with our oldest son, who's in 2nd grade, similar circumstance. The kids that started where he was at, that went to the preschool program, he started in kindergarten. The kids that started in the preschool program were further ahead than where he was at. He started a preschool outside of the private school he's in now. It's just a lot of money. Jake is calling people clowns on the chat box.
Left and right.
Oh, left and right. It's the anonymity of keyboard muscles.
He needs to start calling people jokers too. That way we can make a song out of it.
Hank Martin, Charlottesville City Schools are spending in excess of $30,000 per student. Albemarle County Public Schools allocated roughly $19,774 per pupil in 2024 and 2025, and are projected beyond $21,000 per student in 2025 and 2026, placing the district among the top spenders in the Commonwealth of Virginia. At least at these levels of investment, outcomes should be extraordinary. Are they? If students were graduating with world-class literacy, mathematical fluency, scientific competence, and civic reasoning skills, the expenditure could be defended as an investment in human capital, but they are not. Hey, Martin, I believe that is your first comment on the I Love CVille show. Welcome to the family. I hope you comment more in the future. I found your comment to be the exact opposite of Jake, who's coming across as a total D-bag on the I Love CVille show here.
Jake from State Farm?
No, Jake the
He
bot.
sounds hideous.
Who is using the words goofy clowns. My favorite people are the people that hide behind internet anonymity with fake profiles and no pictures in their profile. Those are the best kind of people. Comments continue to, God, I can't even keep up with these comments. There's more than 600 comments here. Oh, we got to get to Carly Wagner. Carly Wagner says, someone called me a bot yesterday. Carly Wagner is the furthest thing from a bot.
Yeah.
She says that Albemarle County Public School statement illustrates that the walkouts are just the tip of the iceberg and all the anarchy and chaos rampant in the schools. The walkouts are just the highly visible public-facing image of the heart of the issue. Public schools are crumbling. There is no longer any control or authority over the students. It's really sad. She's saying the statement from the teachers.
Yeah,
The teachers.
nor even an attempt at control.
That's the saddest thing, that the teachers know that there's a large group of students that are just going to be skipping, be truant, not on grade level, will be socially promoted, and they don't care. They allow them to do that for the betterment of the other students that are not impacted by the behavior. That's what she's saying in that, Lauren Thraves in that statement.
Yeah.
She's like, we know that's going to happen. We just let them be truant and skip school now because at least they're not hurting the other kids.
Right.
Think about that. Carly Wagner also says, I thought Albemarle County Public Schools has already adopted a policy that does not allow ice on school grounds. So wouldn't school property be the safest space for those scared of ice snatching them? She also says Revolutionary Airlines should connect Cho to Boston. And she says Albemarle High School and Western Albemarle High School are the epitome of systemic racism. Why are we okay with this entire system of schools? ACPS enrollment is still lower than 2019 enrollment. We appreciate you, Carly Wagner. Sincerely mean that. I think she knows that. All right, we're, goodness gracious, 80 minutes straight without stopping? Mm-hmm. Carol Thorpe says, whose liability will it be if a child is injured or disappears while truant from school? And that Dr. Gurley is on thin
ice.
But Carol Thorpe, you're the troublemaker, Carol Thorpe. Cameron Taylor is watching the program. Cameron Taylor has a differing viewpoint from us, and she's not using clown or jokester in her commentary. So I'm going to read it. Cameron Taylor, you guys are hilariously misrepresenting the correlation between Western Albemarle High School TPUSA and this. If you think a school administration allowing in an outside speaker from a highly partisan organization into a school that would almost assuredly include many kids of the LGBTQIA plus community, when that speaker's message is literally that those kids are mentally ill, and the author of Two Genders, One Truth, which is literally arguing against the rights of trans people, is the same as students choosing to lead a protest with or without administrative blessing to hold a walkout, that is just disingenuous. Come on, guys. You want to touch on that?
I mean, it was your argument.
I can touch on that if you want.
What was, I mean, I
thought we had freedom of speech. I thought we had the First Amendment. Does the First Amendment only apply to protest material that we're passionate about? Or does free speech in the First Amendment apply to protest material and topic matter that we're passionate about, and protest material and topic matter that we absolutely find appalling. Because from my standpoint, the First Amendment and freedom of speech is about creating a civilization or a society where we can speak what we feel and believe.
Yeah.
And when it was all said and done, Ms. Taylor, the speaker spoke. Right?
Yeah, as far as I know.
All right. But I appreciate Cameron Taylor's comment. I sincerely mean that. I want all walks of life. And she has a profile picture and a first and last name and photos. Very beautiful lady. Or is Cameron the guy here? Cameron's one of those names that...
Right.
I'm scrolling through Cameron's photo. Okay, Cameron is the gentleman that seems to be married to a beautiful lady. Sorry. You guys make a great couple. All right. We have to go make some money. I'd like to give Lonnie Murray is watching the program. Lonnie Murray says this: I would like to see schools use the students' concerns about ICE as an educational opportunity about civics. There's a whole discussion to be had about student rights, federal versus state and local government, or even talking about the rights of protesters. Yeah. I like that idea. I will say this as I close the program. Do you want marketing? Do you want one of the best advertising campaigns possible for private schools in Charlottesville, Albemarle, and Central Virginia?
Keep up what you're doing.
Yeah. Allow the superintendent to go in battle royales, Royale Girlie in a battle royale with the teacher union. It's visibly seen and heard and read by everyone. Allow the Albemarle County School Board to call kids the Ku Klux Klan. That's visibly seen and heard by everyone. Mm-hmm. Allow the kids to skip school and be truant and walk down the downtown mall. That's visibly seen and heard by everyone.
Whenever they want, with a cheering section from the administration and teachers.
Have Albemarle County High School teachers issue statements to the top media platform in the region about a large percentage of the Albemarle High School population just basically being nomadic and having no letter of the law to follow. Mm-hmm. And everyone knowing it and being okay with them and still graduating them.
Yeah.
That is literally the best advertising possible for the private schools in Charlottesville and Albemarle, Central Virginia. I do want to highlight Stanley Martin Homes, partner of the program. Stanley Martin Homes is dedicated to building homes that cater to each person's unique needs and lifestyles. Stanley Martin's high-quality single-family homes, townhomes, and condominiums are designed and constructed with innovative techniques that ensure exceptional efficiency, aesthetic appeal. Stanley Martin uses design features and technology to enhance your living experience in homes, not just today, but for years to come. Explore Stanley Martin's various programs to see how they can help you enjoy life more. Stanley Martin Homes. We went 90 minutes on the water cooler of content and conversation, the I Love CVille show. And I can assure you, viewers and listeners, that there is no other platform of merit that is doing this nor reaching the eyeballs that we are. For Judah Wickower, my name is Jerry Miller.